All right, well, we're back for another reading. Yay, we made it. So, yeah, how's your day been? Mine has been kind of all over the place today. So we'll see how the energy is, because maybe that's just what's going on. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of all that, you know? Um, yeah, so let's go ahead and pull from this deck and get a little check, energy check for the group tuning in today. So let's see a little vibe check, energy check. Wow, look at all these cards. Oh, okay. Before I turn that over, I'm also gonna do on the same. I love that these two kind of go together, but this is a different deck. This is the, oh my goodness, I'll put them all in the bottom, and that way you'll know what cards these are. These are hearts, like doorway to the heart, I believe. Single heart checkup. How's everybody's hearts doing today? Oh, I love this. Look at that. Woo woo is wonderful. Oh, wow. All right. All right, everybody. So that's our that's our feel. That is our vibe check today. Is woo is wonderful. I love that. So just jump straight into your woo-woo-ness. Have fun with it. Doesn't matter. Don't care about what other people think. Just, you win the trophy for the woo-woo award today. I love it. Um, Actually, so I love the origin of woo-woo, which is like kind of a generic way of talking about people's spirituality and like people getting all like into their crystals and sacred oils and all these beautiful things, which are actually magical and amazing. People do go off the deep end, but they are absolutely magical things to use. So if you're hanging out with all your crystals today, good for you. But I love that this word actually comes from the Asian Taoist tradition of the Wu Wei, and the Wu Wei, which is the woo woo, is all about the sacred flow. And it's that flow of when you've got the fabric of reality and that energy current that rides through it, where everybody is their own thread making their own beauty in the world. Well, the Wu Wei is doing your path without thinking about that it's just, it comes straight from the heart. And I love, you know that you're in the woo, as in the woo way, maybe the woo woo, but when that is happening, when synchronicities are going on around you. And let's say you put, um I have a really good example. Okay. So the other day I was walking down the road and I was walking with my dog. And off the side, so, we've got this little road and it goes over a creek. Well, my dog became completely obsessed with wanting to sniff whatever was off the side, like towards the creek, which is actually a pretty steep drop. And I didn't let her go over there to sniff, but finally gave in. And I was just like, okay, so what's over there? And I'll go and check it out. Well, there had been a fox that had passed, and it was off the side of the little bridge, and it was right there next to the creek. And so I just had a moment looking at this little fox and just being, kind of heartbroken that it had died. but then also, it's a sacred animal to me, and I absolutely love the fox and what the fox means for me. And so I just had this moment of like, it was a synchronicity of seeing a fox, despite the fact that it was like that. So anyway, I had a moment with the fox. And then when I came home, I told my husband Alex, I was like, Alex, there's this little fox that I saw. And I told him about Luna pulling me way over there to check it out. And then he goes and he basically points over to I have this little kind of like altar of sorts where I've got Ganesh, and he just kind of like welcomes the energy and like sets a tone for my house, and it's just a lovely little place in my entryway. And I look over there and he had put a little toy fox on the my like beautiful tapestry where Ganesh sits. He had put a toy fox there just because. And I was like, where did you put, when did that happen? Where did you put like, how did this? And he was like, oh, it was for some reason had got kicked around in the living room. He had stepped on it. He picked it up, is a little toy fox. And this is like from when my daughter was like 5, playing with tiny little animals. And somehow, magically, it had ended up on the carpet, even though she's 15 and doesn't play with these anymore. It's crazy. But that right there is him following the woo way. So he put the little tiny fox there. And for me, that was actually really significant because the area in which he had put the fox, for me, that particular spot on the altar was for regeneration, growth, and nurturing of the home and the family. And so to me, that was like a symbol of that, even though I had seen the fox and he was no longer in the physical, his spirit, it felt like his spirit was nurturing my family. And it was just like, yeah, it touched me. And then that's very much woo. So, like, what kind of woo moments have you had in your life where you can be like, I was just doing something and didn't even think about it, and it turns out it was totally magical? So I just love those. All right. And then here's the second card that we've got, which is Doorway to Sacred Union, which I love this card because look at all the stairs and these doors, and it just feels so a little bit Escher-like in that I kind of feel like you could walk in and walk around and you'd probably come out one door and out another one. There's just so much intricacy in this artwork. That's why I love these cards. But the Doorway to Sacred Union. Hmm. And that's like, with this woo-woo thing, like the sacred union with your own, that part of you that just knows, just instinctively, like my husband didn't consciously say, oh, I'm putting a fox in this particular part of the altar, because none of that happened for him. He just kicked a little fox and he picked it up and put it somewhere where it just felt right. And I feel like that is this, like flowing with that sacred, quiet part of you that already just knows, knows exactly where your little toy fox needs to go. So, yeah, I like that. I like that. That feels really, really rich, really yummy. So let's work with this a little bit. And I always like trying to think of what card. Fairy cards. Love them. I love the fairy cards. The Heart of Fairy. One of my faves. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, look at this. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, we're getting the gift. Look at this dramatic card. Very hermaphroditish looking. where we've got this almost green man face, but this feminine body. That's really incredible. Wow. Almost a little bit reminds me of the same form and shape that when I did the last reading with the architect. There's a bit of that kind of feel. So let's go ahead and read the gift. What a beautiful card. Let's see. Where did you go? Okay. So we've got wisdom, gracious acceptance, and recognition. We think of fairy gifts as perhaps not being what they seem. The 3 wishes you were given are a trick or a burden. The Prince Charming sometimes becomes a demon lover. And sometimes, however, a gift from fairy is a true gift, given freely with good intent. And what will this gift be? What it will be, oh, stumbling around here. What it will most likely be is wisdom. The gift of wisdom comes from journeying along within the realm of fairy, looking, listening, and being aware of the energies that surround you. Prepare yourself for the gift that's coming. Ooh, I like that. So, the gift from fairy, it seems like we've got a gift coming from fairy. If we or maybe it already arrived because just keep on following that little quiet knowing, or that little curious kid part of you that is spontaneous and just kind of does things. Like, there's a gift in that for sure. And maybe the gift is in that spontaneity when you get that kind of like, oh, that's why I did that. Or I mean, I also just love those times where you follow your instinct, like, oh, I'm gonna need an umbrella today, even though it doesn't really feel like you're gonna need an umbrella. But then, at some point down the line, you're really glad that you brought it because suddenly you need it, or a friend needed it, like that kind of thing where it's like, oh man, I followed my instinct and it paid off. And I feel like that is this gift. And oh, I'm going to read the rest because, I kind of felt like stopping reading, but then now I feel like reading the rest of this because it does say more. It says, um, this is what this masked figure holds out to you, a gift, an egg, and which I'm not sure, I got a little lost with the egg part because I don't personally see an egg in here. But anyway, metaphorical perhaps. An egg containing all of the wisdom you have acquired throughout your travels in fairy. This is a serious gift. She is not a capricious sprite, but a grave and majestic figure. If you are willing to acknowledge the journey you have taken and the lessons you've learned, then accept her gift freely. So she's really just handing this gift out to you if you're ready to take it. So that's why I wanted to keep reading. At first, it felt like, it was a good stopping point, but now let's read it all. So the gift, I love that. So let's go ahead and pull this and let's just lean in. Let's just lean on into this beautiful gift that's being freely given. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's all connected. It's all connected. Which leans back into that sacred union card. And again, like all of this is coming straight back into that quiet peace. Like that little voice in you is totally you. Like it is all connected, and you lean into one piece of the puzzle, you doing one small thing from your heart's intuition, at your heart's knowing, and then little by little, it's like other people gather from like uh, they will end up riding that ripple as well. So actually, we had to talk about that this morning. Yeah, there's just so much going on today, and I'm a bit scrambly today. Today's been a very, I kind of feel a little bit like all this wind, a little bit blown around today. I don't know how everybody else is doing out there, if you feel a bit scattered as well. Maybe that's just kind of the energy of today. But go ahead and grab one more. Oh, I just noticed that the in the center here is the spider. And I apologize for my camera not being very sharp and focused, but this is a spider weaving threads from each and every one of these leaves. Not each and every one, but a large majority of these leaves are being threaded together by this spider and by her. And so that again is that woo, like the thread and the weave of the tapestry of reality. And like you pull your thread, which is your inner knowing. And then the universe, grandmother spider pulls her threads together. And that's where magic happens, because then you are doing things in co-creation with the universe, which is beautiful. And things become more playful, things become more fun, because then you know that your little piece of the puzzle has a connection, has an impact, has importance. Because you are so important. Without your little thread, all the rest of the threads would loosen, and you create strength and stability in my web, in the other people's webs around you. And so you continuing to move with this wonderful woo-woo part of you that just knows what's right and knows when to do your magic, that is a gift to everyone around you, because everyone can feel it. Every single soul can feel that, even if they can't articulate it, and even if they're not aware of it. It's okay. It's okay. Not getting recognition for you pulling on your tiny thread is okay. You don't need it. That's just an ego thing to get all of that recognition and the validation. It's great and it feels nice. And that's why I'm giving it to you right here, right now, is that you are really pulling on my threads and I can feel it. And that's probably why I feel fueled up and excited to sit and do these readings again, because I've been feeling those little threads being woven, and then I'm excited to do my part. So everybody else is doing their part too, and that's beautiful. Yay. Oh man. From scattered to organized. I kind of feel like that's been the feeling of today. You start scattered, you end up organized, and then you get scattered again, and then you start over. So, oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, look at that. I love this card. This one is so beautiful. Prettiful. Like a bird. Isn't that gorgeous? Like a bird. Just feels very totem animal. Does anybody know their totem animals? Most of us have a few. It's usually, like we've got a few favorite animals. Those are kind of go-to magical totems. But then we've also got animals that we are deeply afraid of. Those are also kind of totem animals. They show us a piece of ourselves that we still need time to integrate and grow accustomed to how strong and powerful they are. So those are really good to know. Like if you're terrified of sharks, you might want to look into what do sharks mean. If you're, incredibly like energized and excited by chimpanzees, take a look at that. See what it is about you that is just lit up by these different animals or terrified by them. Those are both very important. But I just see this as, this is a piece of her that she's in deep connection with. Like she's petting that bird. It's part of, it's just part of her. They've spent long hours hanging out and playing. And maybe I just see them visioning together. Like they're both looking in the same direction. She's got a wing that is in spirit and he's in physical. And it just seems like that part of her that flies like a bird and can see from different vantage points. Like, yeah, I mean, we're all here on the ground floor, right? And then we've got these different medicine animals that give us different perspectives if we, go into that imagination space and actually try on seeing through the lens of that animal. So if let's say like you've got like a hawk is one of your sacred animals. Well, maybe you take a little time and you close your eyes and you pretend like you're flying around like a hawk. Well, what do you see? What do you feel? Or just enjoy the freedom of being able to spread your wings and fly. And maybe that's all it is. And then in time, it builds more and more of a connection to that sacred uh, totem animal that you are actually quantumly attached to. This is not, these old wisdoms come from actual things that we're going to begin learning, that there are parts of ourselves that are multidimensional and can fly through the dimensions, through different places, just like birds. But it's part of our spirit. It's part of our awareness, our consciousness. So, using that childlike imagination to just pretend is like baby steps to learning how to do the kind of things like we hear in old shaman stories of, you know, like being able to shapeshift into birds and creatures and gather information and knowledge along the way. So that's a real thing. You can actually practice that and play with it. I by no means have gotten good at this, but it's a practice that is fun. And I sometimes will be driving, especially on longer drives, especially if you're out in nature. I like to take drives through the countryside, and part of my spirit feels like it's has huge vulture wings and flies along the treetops. It's always been like that. I've always felt that way, and it just adds to the feeling of freedom and excitement of wherever you're going. So I'm curious to hear what other people's totem animals are and what kind of animals are you deeply afraid of, and what kind of animals do you treasure and wish that you could have as a pet? So, or maybe you already do. So, yeah. And that right there leads to this. This is part of your like that sacred union, you and your inner um magic, your inner medicine animal, and that we are deeply connected. And so it's like you can actually get into a practice where that piece of you can actually fly out, maybe in your dreams, and when you wake up, you have this like little bits of knowing that drop in because you've actually become more aware of the travelings of your spirit animal. It's really cool. It is really beautiful. If you have animals in your dreams, definitely pay attention to the magic and medicine of those. Those are extra, extra special. Um, yeah. A good book, if you are curious about learning about this kind of stuff, would be Animal Speak. That one is really fun. He dives into lots of different animal totems and stuff. So, anyway, I think we'll pull one more card. And I feel like basically the reading is a lot of this is just, reconnecting with that fun magic side of you, like getting into your woo-woo side. And I know that especially right now where we've got it just feels more and more and more commercial, where you can look on Pinterest or whatever, Etsy, and you see all this like spiritual stuff, and it kind of it just starts to feel more and more false. And um yeah, like, just I don't know, more like commercial buy stuff that makes you look spiritual, but that's really not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the real thing, and we're talking about getting into your real magic, connecting to your spirit animal, connecting to if you've got a favorite crystal, put it in your pocket, or if it's small enough, and start really talking to it, start really connecting to it, because these are these little gifts. We have so many gifts all around us, and it just takes time for us to start actually building relationships with these different magical things in our lives. The crystals, the candles, the sacred animals, all of that. But it just gets you more and more connected to your true essence and your true magic in the world. How do you actually weave your essence through the world? And which leads to, what are you gifting others just by you existing along your path? Because even if you do nothing but just walk somewhere, you have left a little trail of energy, which can be a gift to others. And simply by other people walking through your little path, they can feel like just uplifted and get more connected to themselves and their magic. And this is how it all spreads, and this is how a beautiful world takes shape. Just by you existing and doing your beauty, whatever that may be. So, and invite your totem animals to play. You go on walks and imagine that your your jaguar is walking alongside with you, you know? Take walks with your spirit animal. Oh my gosh, of course. Of course we would get this. A new earth. That's exactly what we're creating. And you do so maybe this is obvious to me, but there is an old earth that is fading away, and that's why we see so much destruction and just upheaval. And then we have this new earth that is here. It is here. It is not a fake thing. This is actually for real happening, that we have a new earth that is being born. But right now it's kind of in this state of, one is transitioning away and one is being birthed anew. And the more and more we actually lean into this yummy magic side of ourselves, and we get more and more in connection with our intuition and our heart space and our magic, and the more that we actually start to play with these sacred pieces of our multidimensional selves, we start to just like give more and more gifts and receive more and more gifts from this new earth that is being created. and everything is so connected and interwoven. And little by little, we start to see this actually manifest with our own eyes in real time. And so it's just like becoming more attuned and more aware of when you see magic and beauty and life in the world. Just, yeah, how are you choosing to live in this new earth? Are you dragging the old one with you? Or are you really opening up to the new potentials and the new ideas? And it's going to feel radical, and it's going to feel, I mean, it's new. This is why we're here. This is why we chose to incarnate at this time, because it's so freaking exciting. All of our thousands of past lives have been in old earth, and now we finally get to be in this one. And yeah, it's hard, and there's stuff that's going on, and we have like all this old junk that we're trying to let go of, but it's all because this new thing is happening all around us, and we're in the throes of the labor pains right now. But lean into that, orgasmic birth. Like if I could go back and redo the birth that I had with my daughter, I would try to do it in a way that was far less me thinking and believing that it had to be painful, and leaning more into the idea that it could feel beautiful and good. So I think that that's what this reading is all about. The fact that we are here, this little tribe of ours, is these visionary, radical, freaking powerful, witchy, awesome, you know, shaman, magic, medicine people that are just doing such incredible, beautiful work. And it doesn't have to be flashy or showy, and nobody even has to know that you're even doing anything. And sometimes it even looks like you're doing nothing at all, but you're doing so much to birth this new earth. And I'm so proud of you, because it's hard, hard work. And it's also extremely beautiful and joyful all at once. So, with that, I'm going to say that's the end of the reading. I can't wait to just be more and more of in this delicious, yummy magic energy that each and every one of you are creating alongside with me. And if you feel called, share this little channel with other friends, because yeah, it just gets more of us connected together, and we start making like an actual little community. That's a dream of mine, to actually have like a little community here. And I don't know. Eventually we'll see what that community looks like, and what we end up doing with it. But at least right now I feel like we are the little quiet ones running around, weaving magic everywhere we can. And it's actually kind of cool to do it without anybody knowing. So, cheers to you doing all of this as I put away all my cards. Ah, I guess I will see you guys again the next time we meet. And yeah, please, please let me know what you're up to, because you're obviously up to something good. All right. Bye, everybody.